Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Galini.
Hey, Dr. Jeff, how you doing?
Good, Carl. How about you?
Fantastic, fantastic. So today's Science for Humans episode is the result of a question from Michael Lippelt. And quite frankly, he had very specific questions. Michael Lippelt has been a long-time user and recommends Karbolyn, which is categorized as a high molecular weight carbohydrate supplement, to fellow strongmen and powerlifters and competitors for years. But even though he uses it and he knows it works, he doesn't understand how it works. So he has specific questions for you today that he wants you to detail how it works, what it is, and also discuss some of the more current information about Karbolyn. So take it away, Dr. Jeff.
All right. Yeah, Michael, he's a great friend of the show. And Michael, that was a great question because a lot of people have, the same question. Carl, I mean, sometimes people see marketing and it really doesn't answer the question. So that's the one good thing about this. So I guess what is Karbolyn, from kind of maybe a more scientific side, generalized. First of all, I'm now calling it a designer sugar, even though it's sugar-free. So Karbolyn is a homeosaccharide, which is made up of, derived from potato, rice, and corn. So we're basically working with the molecular makeup of these starches. There are enzymes that go into the processing. And at the end of the day, what comes out is something that is absorbed as quickly as a sugar, but is completely sugar-free. So that's kind of what makes Karbolyn different than, any other type of carbohydrate product out there is the fact that it doesn't contain sugar, but it's absorbed so quickly.
Now, wasn't waxy maize a great letdown for many people? A lot of people out there think that all these carbohydrate supplements are alike in one way or another. But Karbolyn is vastly different than the rest of these because it does get into the bloodstream so quickly, right?
Yeah, and I think, waxy maize was really disappointing because it was nothing more than cornstarch. The same thing that my wife used to thicken the gravy at Thanksgiving.
Right.
Go buy it on the shelf for $1.50, but these supplement companies were selling it for $25 for the same thing. Is it a carbohydrate? Absolutely. Can you carbohydrate load with it? You sure can, but that isn't the whole idea behind Karbolyn. Again, I designed this so that it would be absorbed very, very quickly, so that we could use it, before a workout. We could use it during. One of the things that I just finished up on a grant by the Montana Research and Commercialization Grant Department was a big clinical trial using sugar as the placebo group. Half of the group took Karbolyn, 50 grams. The other half of the group took dextrose, sugar, 50 grams. We put a butterfly in. So we're going to draw blood now every 15 minutes, and they're on a treadmill, so they're actually exercising. And it was amazing because I had already done this previous, Carl, but this was a really big study, IRB number, peer-reviewed, and exactly what I had been saying that we saw previous, at the same time as sugar, probably about 5 minutes, glucose levels were elevated, but Karbolyn slowly burns down. So on about 70 minutes, that 50 grams was about gone. Where sugar spiked the insulin, spiked the glucose, but then people were crashing. I mean, you could see this in the blood work. That's why sugar isn't a good product at all for athletes.
So is the reason that Karbolyn sustains so long because of its its molecular its molecular makeup, or is it because the way it slowly leaches into the blood through the gut?
More of the molecular makeup, because that it dumps so quickly. That's what it was designed on, was to basically have a tail, was to be slow burning, not burn up like sugar. I think in the study, which will be published here next year, we did a couple more phases to it. We did a pre-diabetic, and now I'm in diabetic studies. But, sugar, I think after about 35, 40 minutes, 45 minutes was pretty much gone, which is what you would expect. But that's what makes it very, very interesting.
So since the Karbolyn is a designer carbohydrate product that has some very, very specific attributes, should you be using it differently than you would other carb supplements? Like how would I use Karbolyn if I was a powerlifter / strongman versus a cyclist?
So yeah, there would be, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, it is a carbohydrate, so it could be used for everything. If you were a powerlifter, a strongman, someone in that game, where you're looking to maintain your weight, you could use Karbolyn mixed with your protein to increase your carbohydrate content during the day. But I would recommend that you used it before you went to the gym. Now, normally powerlifters train for a long period of time, and you run out of gas. So again, you want to mix up another cupful and drink it during the workout or during the meet. Some of the powerlifting meets that I went to ran as long as 8 hours long. And you never knew when you were going to kind of be up, so it was really difficult to eat a whole lot of food, because the last thing you want to be doing is having a full belly and then you're called to deadlift,
Right.
Where cyclists now, they're not trying to gain weight. They don't really need to use it during the day. Now, they need to use it pre. Now, again, depending on how long that event is going to be, a lot of the cyclists, I will actually have them use 100 grams, because they're going to go much longer than about 60 minutes, where, a normal workout is, 60 to 90 minutes. And usually that 50 grams will get you pretty close to, 50% of that workout, or, about 75% of that workout.
Okay, so since Karbolyn is so unique in the way it enters the bloodstream, but it's not a sugar, so it has a different effect on insulin, would it be fair to say that Karbolyn would have less ability to produce fat, since it's not stimulating insulin, than an equal amount of some other starch or sugar?
Absolutely. The longer things hang around, the more easier it is to be stored. Yeah, Karbolyn, even people on a diet, bodybuilders, people here locally that are going on a diet, wanting to lose some body fat, I tell them, you got to have carbohydrates. Do not do these low-carb diets. And because Karbolyn is burned up, again, that's what creates energy. That's the kindling. So you got to fuel yourself during a workout. If not, you're not going to produce enough energy. You're not going to have the gas, so to say, to get through a workout. When you hit those walls, when you just run out of juice, mentally and physically, you have depleted the glycogen levels. If you don't replenish those, it's very difficult to get your performance levels back up.
And then post-workout supplementation, back in the day, I'm going back, 15 years ago, when the whole post-workout drink became very popular. Guys were using, I was using 50 grams of whey, 80 grams of dextrose, a little bit of R-alpha-lipoic acid as a post-workout drink. Would Karbolyn be a better choice for that? And two-part question. Would Karbolyn be a better choice for post-workout, given what we're looking for at a post-workout meal? And would it still allow creatine to enter the muscles? Because it was thought that insulin was required for creatine to enter the muscles, but I think that's been dispelled since then, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a that's a very good question. There was some research that showed, again, getting glycogen back. When you are sore, after you get done, with a game, running, lifting, whatever you're doing, you have depleted those glycogen levels. The quicker you can replenish those levels, that's what starts the whole recuperation process. So yeah, Karbolyn is the perfect recovery drink because it's absorbed so quickly. Now, a lot of people say, well, yeah, but I'm going to go home and eat. Well, first of all, no one eats right after exercising, so there's probably an hour. And then if you're going to eat some carbohydrate, it's going to be hours before that is actually absorbed.
Right.
For me, the quicker that I can recover and recuperate, the quicker I can get on to the next workout,
Is it fair to say across the board, the best way to use Karbolyn is if your workouts are going to be lasting up to an hour, the recommended scoop size is 50 grams, right?
Correct.
So you have one scoop pre-workout about 20 minutes, half hour before the workout. And if your workout is going to go longer than an hour, to have an intra-workout drink ready for you to start drinking about halfway through your workout?
Yeah, I usually take about a half a dose, as an intra, but I don't do it, every workout, because sometimes, again, if my workout's only an hour, I'm good. But if it's leg day where I'm going to go a little bit longer, I'm going to burn up some more calories and what have you, then I like to pop in about 25 grams mid-workout. When I was doing some of my longer workouts where, I would do back and rear delts and then biceps, when I got done with the rear delts, which was about 45 minutes, I would replenish with my Karbolyn about 25 grams. And it was like I had never even done the first part of the workout.
Wow.
Within about 10 minutes, I'm just feeling good, and I'd have a great workout. But you know what happens, in a workout, whatever you do first, normally you feel pumped and you're great, but whatever you do toward the end, it's kind of like you're just kind of going through the motions.
Right.
Well, that's out of glycogen. You got nothing to fuel that muscle to perform.
Yeah. Here's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the other attributes of Karbolyn. Also, I think that you're going to surprise people with a free Karbolyn giveaway here. So stay tuned. You're listening to Science for Humans with my co-host, Dr. Jeff Collini. We'll be right back. How to properly use carbohydrates to ignite your performance in the field and in the gym? You will now, thanks to this free book by EFX Sports. The Carb User's Guide for Maximum Performance reveals why omitting carbohydrates from your diet can totally crush your gains. Ever wonder how many grams you need for your specific sport? Not anymore. We give you the critical number you need to dominate your competition. You'll even discover the super carb that's taking the athletic world by storm. You must try it to believe it. Go to getcarbolyn.com/carb guide today and get your copy absolutely free. Once again, it's getkarbolyn.com/CARBGUIDE. Hey, this is Carl. Start your day just like I do with a high-dose lipospheric vitamin C from Live On Labs. You too can benefit from Live On Labs' lipospheric delivery system. No more pills or powders. That's outdated technology. Live On Labs has the world's most efficient vitamin delivery system, period. Learn a lot more today at liveonlabs.com and benefit from their new reduced pricing. That's liveonlabs.com, Livon labs.com. The secret word is pumpkin. Email that in to onair@superhumanradio.com to be entered for this week's secret word contest. And good luck. AnabolicMinds.com is the premier website for credible information on building muscle, burning fat, supplementation, and more. With over 100,000 active registered members and over 2.5 million posts, it's one of the largest communities on the internet to get help and answers to your questions. It's also the place that the official Superhuman Radio Forum is hosted. Visit AnabolicMinds.com today and get into the action. AnabolicMinds.com. Learn, teach, lead.
Ever feel like you want something crunchy? From the company that gave us the Quest protein bar, now comes the Quest high protein potato chips with 21 grams of high quality protein and only 5 grams of carbs and no artificial ingredients. Just like Quest bars, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Quest High Protein Potato Chip banner ad today and get ready to be satisfied. Thanks to Quest Nutrition, chips just aren't what they used to be.
For the best in real world, no nonsense, result producing and effective strength training, muscle building, and physical culture information, read Brooks Kubic's books and courses. Don't delay. Sprint on over to brookscubic.com and choose from more than a dozen of the best books and courses on the market. Brooks Kubic's training advice has been building strength, transforming physiques, and changing lives for more than 25 years. If you prefer ebooks, look for Brooks Kubic's best-selling courses at Amazon's Kindle bookstore. Show your support for Physical Culture Radio by going to brookscubic.com right now.
Even for extraordinary people, it's all about motivation. Getting going and focusing is easier said than done. That's why people like you with big goals and bigger dreams are turning to Exact to feel motivation now. Exact delivers the breakthrough mental energy you crave and unleashes your creativity. Exact combines precise levels of 6 ingredients that greatly improves brain power and produces intensity. Many of our customers say Exact brings them instant gratification, making them feel happy, bright, and attentive. We say Exact delivers, guaranteed or your money back. Go to xactmind.com to get your trial pack absolutely free and experience life with the motivation, focus, and drive it takes to realize your potential.
Superhuman Radio has the smartest and most dedicated health and fitness listeners found anywhere in the world. If you're trying to tap this market of greater than 50 million health fitness consumers, you simply can't do better than advertising on Superhuman Radio. Our sponsors tell us Superhuman Radio outperforms other forms of advertising time and time again. If you're tired of wasting valuable advertising dollars and need a new way to build your client base, go to superhumanradio.com and click on the Advertise With Us link. It just may be the best thing you have ever done for your business.
Spit that out right now. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back to Science for Humans. So my co-host, Dr. Jeff Galini, is answering a question sent in from a listener, Michael Nippelt, right? Is that what his name was?
Yes, that is.
Okay. And he has been a long-time user of Karbolyn, and he's does powerlifting and strongman competitions. And Karbolyn really, really works. Why do you think more people don't use Karbolyn, Dr. Jeff? Do you think it's because the industry is filled with so much hype that it takes guys like Michael to say, you know, I've been using Karbolyn, I'm a strongman? Even Coach Wade Johnson never used anything, and then once he started using it, he swears by it.
Yeah, I think it just takes time. I mean, there are a lot of people using Karbolyn, but it does take people like Michael. You know, word of mouth is the best way for us to promote. And Michael, if you're listening live, but I know if you're not, you'll be listening on the podcast. Thanks again, you know, for kind of prompting this. Send me over your address and your T-shirt size. I'm going to send you off a little goodie box. And anyone whose questions we use, you know, I like to say thank you by giving you something to show I appreciate those questions.
Yeah, we have people who post on my Facebook wall all the time thanking you for surprises that they receive in the mail from you. I said, yeah, Dr. Jeff is like Santa, but all year long.
I have been hooking people up, as they say. There's nothing better than to be expecting, you know, one little sample and you get a whole box full of stuff. Yeah. But, you know, again, I always say you should never buy a horse until you ride it. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Karbolyn was one of those things that you can actually try. So another thing about Karbolyn that I do like is the flavor. A lot of the high molecular weight starches that showed up on the scene early on, even one that's very, very popular, that kind of tried to corner the market for a long time but really hasn't any longer, they don't taste good. A lot of them taste, like you said, they taste like you're eating Argo cornstarch.
They are bad. You know, you've been out here, Carl. You've seen the resources that we've had. We have. And, I mean, again, you know, in the old days, everything tasted terrible. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into supplements because as a bodybuilder, I could not stand drinking the stuff that we had. So my first product was taking protein powder, pressing it into tablets so I wouldn't have to drink that nasty milk and egg. So when I was developing Karbolyn, I thought, this has got to taste like Kool-Aid. It really has to taste good. Or else how are you going to drink, some during your workout or before your workout or on the sideline at a game? So Karbolyn really does taste well. That's why I like people not only to try it for the performance aspect. One sample, you can see how well it works, but you also can see that it tastes really good.
What are the flavors, Dr. Jeff?
That's the hardest decision, is for someone to choose a flavor. But we got good on neutral, because a lot of guys, especially like we talked about, if you're going to carbo load for a contest, you don't want to have any flavorings and things. And then a lot of guys take the neutral and they'll mix it with their protein to increase their calorie. But boy, you got fruit punch, orange, and strawberry. And then you get over into blue raz, watermelon, kiwi strawberry, and my new favorite, cherry limeade.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Now something you mentioned earlier, you inferred that on the side, people who are on the sidelines and those types of sports, isn't it true that there are actually schools that are now abandoning the traditional Gatorade type drinks and replacing them with Karbolyn?
Correct. In Montana is kind of where we started with this. My new sideline drink, I'm calling it Karbolyn Hydrate, because I've added some phosphated electrolyte minerals. So again, you don't have salt, no sugar, but that's what has become interesting is, a product like Gatorade was great for the 50s and 60s, but we know that sugar does not work well for athletes. And again, we no longer take salt pills like they used to give us back when we were in high school.
Right.
So Karbolyn is the perfect sideline drink. Tastes great, mixes well. So we saw it on earlier this year with our IFL football team. The Billings Wolves did really well with it. We got it into our college football. The basketball players are using it, the soccer players. We're working with some of the high schools here now. So again, it's the new and improved. It's kind of like your cell phone from 10 years
80s,
ago. Or,
yeah, right. The 80s and today, right? Today, today it's
the old plug-in phones from the 60s.
Yeah, it's a computer today. I mean, it's like unbelievable. So let me ask you a question. With the indoor football league group using the this upgraded version of Karbolyn, which includes these electrolytes, are they saying anything? Are they saying, holy mackerel, this is so much better than the stuff we were drinking?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first season, which was 2015, we only had the original Karbolyn, which everyone is drinking. Absolutely, because these guys either came from another arena football team or they were from some D1 school. And the thing about the IFL is it's kind of a stepping stone into the NFL. Guys that didn't get drafted, they're not ready to retire. Most people don't make a career in the IFL. Now, some of them have, but, I think last year 20-some got picked up by the NFL. But absolutely, they got on the Karbolyn, and that's about what they said was, oh, my goodness, where has this stuff been my whole life? We saw the guys because they get products as part of their sponsorship. They're drinking it before practice, so they've got their own personal containers, and then we've got the coolers on the sidelines, and they're replenishing. But we slowly saw our team as being a brand new team, outperforming, having more gas. That's a big run and gun sport. So yeah. We didn't run out of gas like our opponents did. So
that's awesome. So maybe someday we'll start seeing Karbolyn on the sideline of some major teams who get the message that, hey, this stuff actually will help us win games as opposed to just some crappy drink here that is
absolutely going to take some time because Gatorade is the big gorilla, man. They dominate that. But again, as athletes continue to use it, most of the pro bodybuilders are all using this. A lot of the pro football players, we're heading up to the Major League Baseball trainers camp to introduce Karbolyn to them because it's now approved by NSF for Major League Baseball. So we're going to see more publicity than what we've seen in the past. And even if people are putting our Karbolyn in a Gatorade bottle, hey, as long as it's working and they're liking it, I don't care what they're doing.
Yeah. So you have a gift for the audience, is that right?
I do. It's Christmas time, and as I was thinking about this, Carl, I thought, what could we do above and beyond? So I've got sitting in a corner here, I've got 48 beautiful Karbolyn shaker cups. We're talking about the kind of GNC that is about a $13, $14 retail value. I'd like to give those shaker cups away along with a couple samples of Karbolyn. All you got to do is go to the Superhuman Radio site, ask the scientist, and say, hey, I heard the show. I would like that shaker cup. Remember to please give me your address.
Right.
Because I don't want to knock you out of line waiting for your address to come back. But anyone who would like them, and again, even if you're listening on a podcast, don't think they're all gone. A few weeks ago when I gave away those test charge, I think everybody thought that if they called, it'd be too late. And even some podcast people ended up getting a free kit. So.
Right. And also, it also should be said that anytime somebody misses the boat, so to speak, because the show is 5 months old and you're just hearing it now, Dr. Jeff always sends you something. He'll send you maybe a couple sample packs of Karbolyn without the shaker cup or something like that. So don't let this opportunity go to waste. If you want to try the single best carbohydrate supplement in the world that will fuel your workouts and your competitions to a greater degree, why wouldn't you want to perform better? Why?
Absolutely. And if you want to keep up with what I'm doing on a regular basis, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Always got interesting things going on, and every once in a while I throw in a little bonus to those people who catch it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very cool. So there you have it. Dr. Jeff, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Carl. Take
care. Talk
care.
to you soon.